familiar with the war going on in Uganda right now. But how many people are familiar with the organization Invisible Children? Not that many. I'm going to start with a brief history of the war in Uganda. And according to a history and overview of the Lord's Resistance Army in Sudan, published in Switzerland, the war began in 1987, and its leader is Joseph Kony, and he started the war for religious and personal reasons, but it's believed that the LRA can be traced back to Alice Lakwina, who in the 1980s said that a Holy Spirit came to her and told her to overthrow the Ugandan government because she believed that they were mistreating her people. And she was exiled by the government, and there was nobody to continue leading her movement. So Kony, who said that he was her cousin, stepped in and took over the movement. And after he did that, he began to lose support from all the people who were following Alice. And as he began to lose support, he had to find new soldiers, which led to the abduction of children from the villages in Africa. And according to an article from the Maclean's magazine titled The Unknown War, over 80% of the children, or of his soldiers, is comprised of abducted children. And the abductions of the children led to night commuters. It is believed that over 40,000 night commuters, which are the children of the rural villages, they go from their village a couple hours before it gets dark, and they begin walking to the large cities or a hospital or a school, anywhere that's in the public and where the government is present. And they sleep there in the streets and buildings and businesses, anywhere they can, where they won't be grabbed in the middle of the night by the LRA. And so this is where Invisible Children came from, because they walk in the night and everybody knows they're there, but nobody really recognizes them because they don't want the LRA to know that they are supporting the night commuters. Which brings us to the organization of Invisible Children. 3 friends, Bobby, Jason, and Loren, went to Africa in 2003 looking for adventure, and they decided to take their camera and film everything that they found. And what they found was very disturbing and upsetting, and it was a story that they couldn't keep to themselves. So they came back to the United States and made a documentary and shared it with their family and friends, and it's called Invisible Children, Rough Cut. And there was such a movement from it. Everyone in the United States felt so that they hadn't been witnessed, or they hadn't been aware of the situation. So Invisible Children organization started, and it has exploded since 2003. They have a website, they have t-shirts, they sell the DVDs, they make bracelets, they reach out to schools. They have a program called Schools for Schools, where local high schools and middle schools raise money and then send it over to fund schools in Africa for the Ugandan children. And they still run it. They're still very much involved with it. They never thought this is where their lives would go, but it has. I have some quotes by them. It says, "We believe that the problems of Central Africa need to be tackled comprehensively, from peace to education. Solving them is no easy task, and it will take all of us doing all that we can to ensure it." And they also said that we are mobilizing a generation to capture the attention of the international community and make a stand for justice in the wake of genocide. So these are just some of their beliefs and what they believe we as a generation, our generation, the young generation, should do. And ways you can get involved. You can just flat out donate money, just go to the website one time and give them money. Or you can shop in the online store. Christmas is right around the corner. They have great bracelets. They actually have wrapping paper that you can order and wrap all of your presents in. And the DVD is a very good Christmas present. I give it all the time, just because it raises awareness and it keeps spreading the word of what's going on. You can sponsor a child. You can sponsor a school. You can sponsor an individual bracelet or a bag maker. The people who are making them just send them over to the United States to raise money for their town and their family. You can sign up for the email updates, which to me is the most important, because they will email you every time they're doing something, every time there's a petition they need to sign to send to Washington, D.C., every time they have a new campaign. They actually just had a displacement camp that came through Orlando a couple months ago, and we ended up going where you walk from one place, you walk 5 miles to a campground, just like the children do every night when they're walking to their sleep, or where they're going to sleep. And we slept there in the field, and everyone brought their sleeping bags, and we walked, and you sat down, you camped out. And you had to have a famous person come and rescue you to raise awareness, so that the newspapers or someone would get involved who the famous person was coming. And it was just to get the word out there and to make everyone aware of what was going on. And to spread the word. That's the most important thing. That's why they're doing all this. The more people who know, the more people who are upset about it, the more things are going to get done, and the faster it's going to be fixed. What's going on right now? From June 2006 to March 2008, peace talks were underway between the government and Comey. Unfortunately, they fell apart in April 2008 because he was afraid of some warrants that were out for his arrest, and he was afraid if he came in, he would be prosecuted. But luckily, in the last 2 years, 900,000 of the 1.8 displaced have returned to their homes, which is great. A lot of progress has been done, but there's still so much to do. And Invisible Children's current campaign is We Want Obama campaign, where it's just asking Obama to lead an international arrest of Jersey Coney and to rescue the child soldiers. So I'm going to end on this quote. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. By Margaret Mead. So, change the world.